Oh. Oh. Ooh. Oh. Ah. Look at it. Look at it. I'm watching something about Mary Shelley and Frankenstein, and it showed an image of a human form without its skin, and it was just the muscles. And I said, ah, doesn't it look like somebody you know? You go and look at the Nautilus machine, and it's got an image of a guy without his skin. And you look at it before you get on the machine and you say, yeah, looks like me. Looks like a baseball player. Look at that. That's how you know a baseball player. That's how you know your sport. It's what your muscle looks like. If your head looks like a football, I guess that's the direction you're going. So I'm watching this thing about Mary Shelley, and I'm talking about Frankenstein's monster. And I know, and she hasn't said it yet in this little story about the whole thing. His name is Adam. Dr. Victor Frankenstein, not Dr. Viktor Frankl, the man's search for meaning guy. Dr. Victor Frankenstein. Frankenstein? He named his creation Adam. And then when Adam came awake, he was like, oh no, he turned on him. Just like God and Adam. We can blame Eve all day long for giving Adam that fruit, but he was supposed to know better. He fucking did it anyway when he thought no one was looking. It's not the woman that cursed mankind. It's man. Same reason we're afraid of the dark. Because there are men in the forest. And she talks about the cemetery, meeting in the cemetery. And then in the year 1816, how there had just been a simple volcano that went off. And, well, it created dark skies and lower temperatures all over the world. And it was called the summer without sun or something, like it was always dark. It's a simple volcano. Why don't we shoot a few nuclear weapons off and quit paying attention to the next goddamn asteroid that's flying at us? Yeah, it can't hurt you. But in the story of Mary Shelley and her writing of Frankenstein, it's got to do with all kinds of stuff. And basically, there's stuff that went on in her life that she'd fucking have dreams about and shit like that. And then it would happen. That she had an idea. But it involved cemeteries and the moon. And I've been in the cemeteries. I grew up next to a cemetery from the age of 6, and throughout my years, there was a cemetery right next to the old man's house. There's a little bit of empty field that hasn't made it to the fence line yet, so I walk through it when I go to the bar, because I used to be petrified having to go by there. That's why we didn't get anyone for Halloween, and no kids wanted to walk past that fucking cemetery. You want to play the game? Play the game, Harding. Play the game. But there was once, after I realized, like spiders, I had to just get over them, my fear of them, and them crawling on me. I had to get a tarantula. That's Banduras's modeling effect. It's therapy. You show a picture, then you show a video, and then you show a video of someone holding one, and then eventually you touch one, and then you hold one, and you're over your fear. I didn't know this stuff back then, and I wasn't treated. I figured it out on my own. I've had to get rid of the things I fear on my own. And so I would walk through the cemetery every night, go by and salute all the fucking American flags on veterans' graves and stop by Mary Cooper. Her last name it's at the Cooper site in Fairview Cemetery in Gaylord, Michigan. A storm had come through one year and it broke off her arm. And she's just this beautiful statue standing up there as part of the family grave, I suppose, but I always equate it to her. And I stop and I talk to her. And the moon will sometimes be behind her, and most times when I focus on those empty eyes, because there's no eyeball in them, I don't think. You can't see them in the dark. What color are your wife's eyes in the dark? Who the fuck knows? They're the color of the night. That's the answer. I just figured out that old fucking mystery. What color are her eyes in the night? To test you, to see if you really love her. They're the color of night. I got it. Didn't see that coming. But I would look into those eyes at night, and it seemed like she always looked at me and could follow. And I know that happens with photographs on wall portraits and things like that, but it seemed to mean something well enough. And somewhere along the way, I had laid in Ernie Kovac's grave before he was put in it the next day. It was all dug out and ready, so I've got a picture of me lying down in the man's grave before he ever got home. And there was once I was driving to my folks' house. It was between trips, and I was way stationing there. I paid rent. Got home from work, and as I'm hitting Fairview Cemetery down by the Hoekstra house, I see these two kids, and they look like derelicts. They looked kind of like me. And I looked at them, and the one had like angel wings in bones on the back of a shirt. They both had metal shirts on, long sleeve blacks. And I was looking at it, I said, that's weird. And I drove to my folks' house. I got out at my dad's. I smoked a cigarette, drank a beer, and said, I'm going to Mary's. That means I'm walking through that cemetery and going to see Miss Cooper on the way. And I walked through there, and I stopped at Miss Cooper's grave thing, statue, and I did my thing, and then I turned around and I looked, and I could see across the way through the streetlights from North Ohio Street before it becomes Morgan Road, across Fairview Lane Road. I could see these two guys walking in past the flag, and I thought, wow, it took them off a long time to get there. And they went behind this tree, and both of them didn't come out the other side. It was just one of these straight up trees. And I turned my cigarette around so they couldn't see the cherry. as I was watching them, and they disappeared and they didn't come out. There was no way they could have been hiding behind this straight up shrub thing. And so I've seen things happen in there, going in to fight my fear. They never showed themselves again. They showed themselves twice to me, just so I understood there's something fucking going on. And then once I did horrific things at the Gogisberg grave. Don't tell anybody. I reached a point like Mary Shelley, spending every day in the cemetery as a place of stillness and solitude, where I haunted the dead. And who knows what you could do bringing something back to life, which, if I were to start doing experiments with just the ideas I have in my head, I know I'm close. Won't tell you. I mean, here's the truth. The day that the entire society starts living like I do and did more or less, and do in my own thoughts and in understandings now, that's the day civilization falls apart. That's the day you absolve yourself wrongly for creating Adam, the next fucking child of a godlike civilization.